Oh, and Uncle Roger.
Yeah, I forget. I'm actually still wearing this. This is funny. We just completely glossed over it, by the way. I just been wearing it.
Just wearing like a normal t-shirt. What you say with the VLT is Uncle Roger making his white friend try Asian drinks.
For God's sake. Yeah. I'll still carry on wearing it. Hello and welcome to Stick to Fitness. Brought to you by me, Uncle Roger, and co-host Archie.
Jamie Oliver.
Jamie Oliver, the colander. All right. Let's go. Hello and welcome back to Stick to Fitness, brought to you by my co-host Archie and myself, Hymsuen. And in today's topic for discussion is whether or not bodybuilding is a sport. Bodybuilding has been increasing in popularity over the past few years. Many refer to it as the sport of bodybuilding. But is bodybuilding really a sport? Is getting into your speedos and flexing your muscles really a sport? Does it undermine the true essence of sport, such as football or basketball, where there is a huge skill element involved? But in true Stick to Fitness fashion, we first need to answer what constitutes as a sport. So how would you, as a PE teacher, define sport? Imagine if it was in the curriculum.
Yeah, bodybuilding.
Yeah. All right, guys, today now on bodybuilding.
But I think that's the thing, though, isn't it? It's like, what aspect of it? Because is it the training side? Are we putting it all into one? So the training and then like the show day? Or are we talking about just the show day?
Oh, that's a good.
Because I need that information is key, because when you're talking about
what makes football a sport? Is it the competition? Is it training? I mean, the training and the competition is the same thing. That's the thing, because the competition of bodybuilding is not the same as the training.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think that's where
the repetitions, isn't it? But I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to do bicep curls and then you hit a flex, is that not?
It's not the same though, is it? It's not like, you know, like powerlifting. It's like you train, you do bench press.
So is powerlifting a sport?
Powerlifting is a sport.
I would say powerlifting is a sport. But that's why I want to clarify what we talk about. We talk about, because bodybuilding is, or can be, a whole year long. It could be a year-long process for 5 minutes on stage. Are we just talking about the 5 minutes? Or are we talking about the year-long part? Are we including the training side of things as well?
Does it change the answer?
I don't know if it would change my answer, but I think it might slightly alter my thinking towards it.
Should we just include it as a whole?
Include it as a whole?
I think so, yeah.
I still don't think it's a sport.
You don't think it's a sport?
No.
What do you think? What, I guess let's
look at it. Read the definition.
So we have here the definition of what sport is. So sport is typically defined as any physical activity that involves skill, competition. So it definitely has
competition.
A competitive element to it, and is governed by a set of rules or customs. So there's some rules to it.
2 out of 3.
It usually involves physical exertion, which it does when it comes to training. Actually, it's pretty hard on stage as well.
Bloody hard on stage.
Yeah, and is often engaged for enjoyment. Some people enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right. Recreation or competitive purposes. So it's competitive, right? But I guess the question here is going to be, does bodybuilding require skill?
It's just luck.
It's luck.
It's luck. No, I think
this is why we need to get JP on this podcast.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, stay tuned.
Yeah,
I think it's really difficult one because of the criteria, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then it's posing a skill.
It's a skill, isn't it?
I think
because like you do dance. Dancing is this a skill,
dance
right?
Is a sport,
it's a skill, right? Like ballerina or what's the other? They got the ice. Was it ice skating?
Ice skating.
That's Olympics, isn't it? The figure skating.
Figure skating. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's a.
You got dressage.
What's dressage?
You know, like where they ride the horses.
That's called dressage.
I think so, yeah. But no, but hang on a second. You're making me question it. I'm pretty
sure.
I don't
know. I've never heard of fucking dressage before. I was
equestrian.
Equestrian.
Whatever it's called, yeah.
Okay.
What's dressage then?
I don't know what fuck dressage is.
That's Google.
Where have you got that from?
I don't know.
If you know what dressage is, please comment dressage below. You just made it up.
Because that is definitely a thing. But I think if that's going to be classed as a sport, then I don't see, like, bodybuilding, like, how can it not be? But then in my head, I'm like, the skill aspect just comes into play so much in other sports. Football, tennis, hockey.
There's more skills involved. But, I mean, squatting is a skill, no? Is it a skill or is it luck?
Yeah, look, dressage is a sport. Look, this is where they do the dancing. So equestrian is where they
He didn't make it up, guys. Yeah,
so
show the camera. This is dressage.
So that's where
it looks like a jockey on a
That's where they do the dancing. They make the horse dance.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah.
Do they dance with the horse?
Learning
Do they
to
hold
work
hands?
with your horse to achieve greater suppleness, flexibility, and obedience.
Oh shit!
How to
Obedience.
control your horse through the different paces from halt, walk, trot to canter. Yeah, so that's... I knew that was a thing. Dressage is that.
So what, like walking your horse down the thing?
No, you're
That's
on the
dressing?
horse. You're on the horse.
Oh, okay.
And then you make it do like mad, like to one side and do like craziness, and then make it like gallop and stuff. Yeah. And then equestrian is the one where they jump over the thing. I think.
What's the Grand National then? That's equestrian.
No, Grand National is just a horse racing.
Oh, okay.
Equestrian, they have like a routine.
All right. Dressage. Fucking hell, that's the first time I heard of that.
Oh, so hang on. Equestrian sports. So you got dressage, eventing, endurance,
Equestrian
ride.
sport.
Right. So equestrian, I think, is just anything that involves the horse. So yeah, dressage is the thing. So if that's a sport, and that's just the horse, it's like F1.
Is that proper
Is
sport,
F1
though?
a sport? The car does all the work.
Shit, man, you're calling people out here.
Lewis Hamilton.
He's not a sport.
He's
Well,
not-
he's driving though, isn't it? But then what's the difference between me driving my car
Yeah,
and then
literally,
him? It's just it's not
Yeah,
within his
yeah.
competitive.
Yeah.
But if I'm racing you down the road, does that turn it into a sport?
Should we have a race on the way home?
I'd lose, man. I ain't got one litre.
I think that's a tough one. I don't want to. It sounds like I'm diminishing bodybuilding. But I'm
No,
not.
you're destroying F1.
I'm just
Comparing it to me
asking.
driving.
I'm just asking. What I mean is, like, look at that. Look, we got this nice little standard. The complete contest preparation handbook. Yeah.
Okay.
If you were to ask, if you were to give that to someone and say, "Is this a sports book?" I think people would turn around and say no. But then I also look at like, how is esports a sport?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is it what skills there involved? Button bashing.
That's a lot of skill though. Reaction time,
Yeah.
mainly reaction time. Physical. There isn't like, you know, you ever playing, you're sweating, man.
They got their fucking, what's it called? Their blue light blockers.
Yeah, you got the blue light blocks on the Turtle Beach. It puts your heart rate up, so
Yeah.
elevates your heart rate.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I
tough.
don't think golf is a sport, but that's me.
Cut. No, I think bodybuilding.
Do you know what? It's the only thing that is it's a subjective sport, right? So it's the only thing where it's not based upon any like,
but it's like
necessarily
dance-
points.
dance though.
Yeah. How do you? Yeah.
Because there's a criteria, isn't it? That's what part of
But
it is.
there's a strict criteria with that, right?
But is there not with bodybuilding? It's not strict. You know what it is.
Because every federation is fucking different.
Yeah, but if you could do different types, like if you do different dance events, so you can have different
But
criteria.
they have bodybuilding and bodybuilding and bodybuilding, but they're all different.
No, but I think across the board the criteria is pretty similar, no?
Mm.
You got the same.
Sure.
You hit the same poses. If you're doing a bodybuilding show, you're gonna hit the same poses, no?
But then what? So if the person doesn't hit the pose, then shouldn't they just be gone? They're not in the.
Yeah, but everyone does hit the poses. That's the
No,
point.
people do some weird shit.
That's
man.
the criteria, though.
People do weird stuff though in the posing. It's weird because it's subjective, right? It's not based upon. It's based upon someone's opinion, not necessarily hard facts. Like, you know, like when you play football, it's like goal, VAR.
Yeah, but then it comes down to, is it a penalty? Don't know. The opinion.
It's a VAR, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's opinion. Still someone's opinion saying
But
that's a foul. That's
end,
not a foul.
The end result is not an opinion.
No, yeah, the end result is draw, win, loss. That's
I
it.
suppose bodybuilding is the same, right? Because it's done with a point system.
Yeah, of course.
But it's still an opinion of whether or not there's no opinion of whether there's a goal or not. It's gone in. It's fact.
I just think the training aspect of it. I don't know if that's a sporting aspect either. Like he's going to the
different, isn't it?
he's going to the gym
Because
for
really,
sport.
really, what makes it the sport should be the competitive
Yeah, the
side
competitive
of it, right?
side of it. If you just that's what I said about at the beginning. If it was, are you talking about the show day being a sport, or are we putting it all in together? I think the actual thing of doing bodybuilding isn't. I would have to say it's probably not a sport.
Because it's done based on appearance rather than
It's like an activity.
performance, right? Because a lot of sport is based on performance.
Yeah.
Like you need to do X or whatever. You need to score a goal. You need to score X amount of baskets.
Yeah.
You need to win it.
The objective. It's an invasion. They're an invasion game.
Yeah, there's no
Yes, you got
darts. It's like,
you got striking and fielding, games over a net, and invasion games. Yeah.
yeah. What's bodybuilding? Stripping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would categorize it.
That's
It's
why
a performance, isn't it? It's performing arts, maybe.
It's a performance sport.
Well, I think so because you are putting on a performance, so it'd be under the same category as dance, gymnastics, and that sort of stuff.
I guess what makes gymnastics a sport and bodybuilding not then?
I think there's a lot of skill involved in gymnastics. Like if I went out the street and said someone hit a double bicep,
someone could.
They could. If I said now I'm gonna go and do like a tumble backflip into whoever or whatever.
So is then posing not a skill then?
I think I don't know. It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because
then technically it wouldn't be a skill, would it? If someone else down the road can do it.
No, but it's still a skill. It's still is it still a skill, just not performed as well?
So
like you said about golf, but you could probably hit a golf ball, but would you hit it? Is your skill level high enough to be able to hit it the same way as?
But I guess the position of your body is different, right? You know, like in terms of posing. Like,
I think if
you can pick that up within like a minute.
Yeah, but it's a look at that, now you do it sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's
whereas
if you look at
golf,
if you look at a picture, it's like right now do that and you could do it.
Mm.
Whereas with most like motor skills, there's more to it.
There's more skill.
So it'd be low of the skill chain. Posing would be. But then is it a skill to get into shape? Yeah. That's what
is driving a high skill.
What driving?
Like Formula One, is that high skill? It's pretty high skill, isn't it? It's fucking fast, man.
Well, you're going to get but yeah.
I mean, the driving itself is not a high skill. I don't think.
But I think it's more so like the reaction time and stuff.
But it's the pace at which you're doing it at, which what makes it the skill. I think.
Skill, yeah, to be able to perform at
a
high level.
We're saying if we did bodybuilding faster, would it make it a higher skill?
If we pose more, we'd be better. No, I just think there's so much that goes into bodybuilding that doesn't actually count on the day. Yeah. No one cares how long you dieted for, who done the most reps, who's the strongest,
who's the luckiest,
who's got the best genetics, all that sort of stuff. It's just literally on the day, and that's it pretty much. So that's why it comes down to there's not really that much that you can control. Well, I think you control how long you diet for. What you mean on the day?
Yeah.
On the day, you control your kind of like what you eat and stuff on the day and your peak for the day.
This is what makes it not a sport, man.
Yeah. I mean, but I think the thing with bodybuilding, like that variable where it's like how much water you have and how your body reacts to like certain elements, that's some of that is out of your control still. Because you don't know how you might get there on the day, be really stressed and it completely ruins your look, but then I guess it's the same way you might get to a tennis final or something and then be really stressed and you can't perform. So,
I mean, there's definitely it ticks the boxes in terms of
it does. There definitely ticks the boxes.
There is some skill involved. It's not no skill. There is some skill element to it, right?
Like even the tan is a skill. Getting the right person to put that tan on you.
Don't control that.
Someone to put that tan on you.
Yeah, your tan, the sweating, is that a skill?
Yeah, some people just don't sweat.
The melted chocolate.
They were flexing harder though.
It's luck, man. It's all luck. But yeah, that obviously that intense training, that side of it, the discipline, the technique, that's all like physical exertion, right?
Yeah.
And you've got the competitive nature of it. That's there's like obviously the presence of clear winners. You've got the rules, the regulations.
It's definitely there.
You know, the athleticism that's required for it, the physical strength, the endurance. So there's arguments for it.
I think there would be a lot of people that would argue for it, definitely.
But then there's also all that subjective.
All right, then, so here we go then. So if you're saying that you do bodybuilding, but you never compete, are you doing a sport? Is it a sport still? So if you don't compete,
I mean, the competitive nature has to be within it, right? Otherwise, you're not doing no sport.
But you're still ticking more than.
But you're not taking the competitive nature. That's a big part.
You're competing against yourself, though. It's you against you. No, but is that though? Because some people are, to a certain extent, people out there are bodybuilding.
So you're telling me if I drive down the road, it's that's sport?
Oh.
It's me against me, man. I gotta make sure I'm not double clutching.
No, but like who you're competing against, does that come into play? Because like I said, just because some people want to do bodybuilding.
Yeah.
For like, say you were like a fitness model or something, so you're doing the whole bodybuilding style thing because it's your job or you're posting pictures on Instagram, whatever. You never have no intention of wanting to step on stage and get tanned up and flex. Yeah. What are they doing?
They're influencers.
Are they just training?
They're not doing the sport.
They're not doing the sport. So because they don't step on stage, they're not doing the sport of bodybuilding.
No. Are they bodybuilders?
What? Okay then. So.
Do you think they're bodybuilders if they don't compete?
No, I don't, I'm asking. What are they?
I'm asking you.
Where do they sit? We need a Venn diagram.
Is somebody who doesn't compete, do you think they're a bodybuilder?
You changed the question.
I know, but this is a separate podcast, I think.
We'll come back to that.
There you go. You can dwell on that. But yeah, I don't think they're not doing no sport of bodybuilding. I don't know. Maybe they are doing sport.
Are they
of
doing the sport
bodybuilding.
of training?
Or
they doing the sport of weightlifting?
Yeah, because if you play football, even if you play football, you're kicking around in the park. That's considered you're playing sport, right?
Okay, so what you do? So hang on a second. Okay, so if you go to football training,
yeah,
and you're doing like some passing drills,
yeah,
are you doing the sport of football?
You are, aren't you? You're
Why?
playing sport.
Why? You're just passing the ball around.
I don't know. Well, you're training for sport, I guess. That's part of the element of training, right?
But then if you're doing that and then doing the sport of bodybuilding, you're still doing it, aren't you?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Because if you were just with your friends, like literally doing like a pass, like if you're playing rondo.
What the fuck is rondo?
Rondo, where you're in a circle and there's like two people in the middle and then you got to try. You know, like, you see the clips all the time.
Is it called rondo?
It's called rondo, yeah.
Oh shit!
I don't know why it's called rondo.
We never had no names for it. It was like piggy in the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, piggy in the middle. So if you're playing piggy in the middle,
there we go.
As your warm up before you go and do the sport.
Rondo.
No, that's Pep Guardiola terminology.
He calls it rondo.
Yeah, of course it's rondo. I don't know why, but it is. But if you're doing that as your training exercise to then go and do the sport of football, what would you say that you're doing? Oh, I'm going.
But do these people? I don't know. Do they compete? They do some sort of games, right?
No,
but once it starts becoming a break off into some sort of, so if they're just training and they're passing around, that's not sport.
No, but are they doing football then? Because football is a sport.
Oh fucking hell!
That's what I mean. So if they don't play the competitive part of it,
they are playing football, aren't they? Really, or they're just passing.
Well, they're just passing, or they could just be dribbling.
But that's an element of the sport.
It's an element of it, but we're saying the competitive part is what makes it like the sport.
I guess, yeah, I see.
So
when you look at the definition.
Is that why they call it football training?
It involves skill competition.
Well,
I guess technically that wouldn't be.
Well,
based upon this, right?
Well, that's what I'm asking.
They're not playing a sport. They're passing. They're training for a sport.
So again, if you're playing tennis, individual sport, and you got your coach one side and you're the other side, and he hits you a ball and you're just practicing your forehands.
Yeah.
Are you playing tennis?
You're playing tennis.
But it's not competitive.
Yeah, you're not playing competitive tennis.
It's just what you're doing. You're just hitting a ball over a net.
Yeah. You're not playing the sport of tennis.
But if you look at it like that,
you're not actually
the actual sport that you're saying. The actual sport side of things is only competitive.
It needs not only, but it needs to include competitive nature. I believe in this, based upon this definition. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So if you're playing in the park with your mates, you aren't actually maybe. Because if you're competitive,
you're playing with a sport. You're playing five-a-side with your friends.
It's when you're practicing the skills, when you're doing the passing drills and stuff. You are not. But then if you competitively pass with your mate,
so what about if you're training with your friend and you're competing against him?
That then becomes a sport, does it?
What are you doing it by yourself then?
No. It's me against me.
What if your friend's not there, but you're texting each other saying, "Yeah, I just benched 100." He's like, "Yeah, well, fuck you. I just benched 110." Still competing against your mate.
But there's no.
What makes a competition?
The rules, isn't it? There's no rules.
In what?
In your bench press that you.
Well, there is. You do powerlifting. Of course there is.
I know, but
on command.
But with your mate, there's not.
Yeah, but if you're doing it like to that, saying, "No, send me a video. You didn't pause for long enough." Blah, blah, blah. Still subjective.
Yeah.
How long was your pause? What about your depth?
There's no VAR.
Maybe there should be.
Yeah, powerlifting VAR.
Powerlifting needs to...
I was speaking to someone about that powerlifting VAR. So they're saying that...
Powerlifting needs to move to lasers.
But the thing is, like, how would you monitor the depth as well with that? So, because everyone's depth is slightly different, right? So let's say if you set that, you're going to have to set the laser height before they squat. Right?
Yeah, of course. But you set it at like 90 degrees.
Yeah, I know. But then what if they move?
What do you mean what they move?
What if they open up their legs a little bit wider? Or then have a narrow
hit
stance?
90 degrees then?
No, but then the laser's going to be off, right?
But
that's interesting, isn't it? And I guess that's one thing that I never thought of. It's like, oh yeah, someone's going to
just have
it.
multiple lasers.
Every single angle of your
but
leg.
no one's squatting really close. No one's
No,
squatting.
but someone
really
will do that because they'll be like, oh, let's measure up your VAR squat position, and they go, okay, I squat narrow because obviously it's going to be higher, right? And then when they actually come to squatting, their feet are going to be way wide.
There's no VR in bodybuilding.
We need to go back.
Yeah, go back and hit that pose again. I think that's what I mean. I think that's. I get the competitive side of it. I just don't know if it's.
That's a good one though. It's interesting. If you're passing around in the park, is that sport? Are you doing sport?
Are you doing sport?
I don't know. You have to let us know.
Yeah, comment down below.
Right now, according to the definition, you are not doing.
Because
sport.
you're working on the skill and the technique aspect of it, isn't it?
Yeah, you're playing aspects of a sport, but you're not actually playing.
But you're working when you're in the gym though. You're working on your technique to improve your posing. You're working on your muscles using the correct technique to build the muscles, then be able to perfect the skill of posing. If we're saying posing's a skill,
it's a fucking lame skill.
Posing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. There are some people when you pose, it is a bit like. I mean, that's pretty cool. But is it only cool because they're shredded? Yeah. So if a fat guy was posing, would you be like?
So you're saying if Terence Ruffin was obese, would it still look?
Yeah,
as good?
would it still look as good? Probably not. Probably not. So then. That comes into play, good. Doesn't it? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know.
Comes down to condition.
Oh, well, that's but that's part of the criteria, isn't it?
Yeah. So
there is set bound for what it is. You get judged on that.
Yeah.
So if someone wanted to do the sport of bodybuilding, and so it's random persons like you see their memes online, isn't it? Where someone just steps on stage, gets tanned, and just hops in. They're still doing the sport, aren't they? They're competing.
But the thing. So with the focus of bodybuilding, right? There's no other sport that is based upon aesthetics and how you look.
Yeah, true. You could be the ugliest dancer.
All sport has some sort of it's performance based, right?
Mm.
There's nothing that just looks. It's all based upon an outcome.
Mm.
There's no sport that is just based upon purely how you look. Like then it's modelling a sport.
It's modelling, yeah. Beauty pageant.
Is that sport?
But dance, how you do things comes into play. Like how it looks when you do it, not how they look.
Mm.
It's not going to be like, oh,
but they have a criteria.
White,
they
black.
need to hit certain things like pirouettes and combo. I don't know how they judge it, right?
Yeah, but okay, so like diving, for example.
Yeah.
You can hit the best dive, but if you make a big splash,
yeah,
it doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So then you lose points. So it's not about how the diver looks, but how they do it.
Yeah.
Is it aesthetically pleasing? That comes into play.
It's weird, isn't it? Now I'm questioning whether those should be sports.
What, diving?
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, though, if you told someone to jump off a 10-meter wall and do like four backflips, there's many people that can do that. It's really high skill.
Yeah. Sorry, Tom Daly.
Yeah, shout out Tom. Man. There is a lot to that.
Yeah.
From the skill aspect.
But then, what makes bodybuilding not a sport then? Because you go down the road, you tell someone to hit a front double bicep.
Yeah.
they ain't doing that.
Does the skill come more from? Is discipline a skill? So being able to adhere to your diet and stuff. Is that not a skill?
It's luck, isn't it? Really?
yeah. I'm not just going to get the jab.
Yeah.
Is that more? Is that where it comes down from? Because there's no other. Someone could correct me if I'm wrong. There's no other sport that is 24 hours of the day. Down to everything, down to like how you sleep. Yes. Yeah, if athletes sleep good, then they're going to perform better, maybe, but it's not going to dictate your outcome as much. Like
some people, like they do that the hyperbaric chamber thing.
Yeah.
You know? Is that 24 hours? Because then they like an oxygen tank. They sleep.
Okay, but look at footballers, for example. It's like, oh yeah, what's your every after every game I go and have a big Chinese.
They do, don't they?
No, but imagine saying then like, oh, okay, yeah, after every training session you have a cheat meal. Well, you're never going to be able to perform well. Whereas like you can get away with it in other sports. You can still hammer your training and stuff. Like look at Michael Phelps, yeah, hammered his training, hammered it.
Yeah.
When he was on, some crazy stat like it wasn't a day for like something like 8 years where he was not in the water. But he was eating 6,000 calories a day, eating pancakes, you name it, he's eating it just to get food in. So he's getting the best of both worlds, really, isn't he? He's performing at the top level, winning back-to-back 8 gold medals in one Olympics or whatever, something crazy it was. And the guy's eating whatever the hell he wants and he's shredded. That's the goal, really, isn't it? Yeah. Swimming sounds like a great sport.
Yeah, but you got to be weirdly shaped to be a Swiss swimmer.
Yeah, of course. It comes down to luck. But it's one of those, isn't it? Where if you're training for a bodybuilding show, it comes down. There's so much variables, how much steps, strength. Like a football player. Like, I don't know. Like there's so many things, and it is a 24-hour.
But if you were to ask the general public, like, do you think this is like show them a picture? Do you think this is a sport?
We'd have to show them a video, full routine, wouldn't you?
Do you think this is a sport? Do you think what would they say?
I think they say no.
Say no, innit?
Yeah. But it's perception though, isn't it?
Mm. It's because you don't see it in the Olympics or whatever. It's not a sport.
Yeah, well, that's Olympic sport. Mm. But they've added more to. They didn't add bodybuilding. Mm. So, it's an interesting... like I said,
it's also...
It's the same though, isn't it? Like you said, if you said to someone is modelling a sport, they would say no.
Then what separates modelling from bodybuilding?
It's not. It's that's what they say, though, isn't it? It's just a beauty pageant. Yeah. It's who looks the best. But you're being judged for how you look.
Yeah.
And when you put it like that, it's a mad.
That's why it becomes not a sport, because you're judged off appearance.
And I think that's where it becomes more subjective, because, like you said, if you go and do one federation, they love you. You go do another one, you come last. That is feasible to happen. That can happen. So then, well, what the hell? Where do you stand then in terms of it being a sport? Because it's not consistent enough, really.
And then obviously, a lot of sport performance enhancement is banned, right?
Yeah.
Whereas bodybuilding, so technically natural bodybuilding is more of a sport.
Yeah.
It was to be a sport, right?
That's tough. That's hard. That's a bit harsh on
because
enhanced athletes.
Because
but I hear
sport, you're not, even though people do, you're not supposed to be taking drugs.
Yeah, it's supposed to be the peak natural human performance.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. I don't think they are.
Yeah. I don't think so either. But
I think it's definitely one of those things to consider, isn't it?
It's very interesting. Yeah.
About that.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you think bodybuilding is a sport?
I'd have to stick with my answer. I'm going to have to say no.
Yeah. I don't think it is. Like, just purely down to the subjectivity. Yeah, that's aspect of it. It's based on aesthetics.
Like, if someone came up to you in the street, or if someone saw you in the gym and say, "Oh, hey, you do the sport of bodybuilding?" Like, you'd be like, "No, I just kind of train and then."
I do bodybuilding.
It comes to why you compete, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if some people just love competing and that side of it. Some people compete only because they train. So
it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't think it's a sport.
No, I would have to say it's not.
But some people may think so. So, we hope you found this discussion interesting. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to leave us a review on iTunes and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. And if you disagree with us, you can find me on Instagram @gymwithhim, and my co-host is @Archie13 with 2 E's. Thank you all for listening, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. Do you know what I hate? I fucking hate paper straws.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
This is I've not been drinking it, right? But
this is the that is the VLT downside. Forget the environment, man. I ain't got time for the environment right now. I want a plastic straw.
I always get 2 straws from McDonald's.
Yeah, you have to.
What do carton drinks have plastic straws these days?
No, they're all paper. Everything's paper
now, I know.
They have to. It's some like regulation thing, I think.
You know, in Hong Kong, they used to do 1 day a week at McDonald's where they didn't, like before the paper straws, where they didn't give straws out.
What?
Environment shit, innit?
Bare people must be buying that shit though in Hong Kong. Bare people, innit?
Trust me, man. Hong Kong, I swear, they waste so much food.